So, as I'm walking through Humboldt Park in Chicago, there happened to be this concert going on, and a lot of drumming, pretty good music. They're skilled, and hearing the rhythm in the drums made me think about what makes it happen, what makes it work, and realizing that really what makes music generally, most people will agree, is that the different instruments played by different people are synchronized, and that gives it a system, it gives it order, and as long as we can recognize that order, our mind recognizes that order, that synchronization of the instrument, we call it music. The more synchronicity there is, the more orderly it is. Generally, we would agree that it's more beautiful. It's amazing when things synchronize well together. Now put that in contrast with when things happen in our life, when events seem to match up. For example, somebody you're thinking about just happens to call you right at that time that you're thinking about that person, and they might tell you whatever you've been thinking about. So maybe you were thinking about a particular topic and they just happen to call you about that particular topic. And this is not like a routine call or something. This is just an example. Or you could be thinking about something else and it just happens. Or you're thinking about seeing a shooting star and there is a shooting star. And we would also call that synchronicity, because we see two things happening that seem to be aligned, seem to be in order, that seem to be not random, and we find beauty in that, amazement in it. We see some sort of greater systematic background in the universe when these kinds of things happen. It's beautiful. Now the skeptics would tell you that no. Somebody called you. No, it's not synchronicity. They would just say it's just coincidence. You know, the probability. If you just look at probability, 1 in 100 chance that this sort of thing would happen anyway, and then if you take all the samples you'll realize that these things. Yep.
Is that a YouTube channel?
Yep.
Where do you get followed?
On YouTube. Yeah.
Can I see it?
Sure, go to lifestyle choices. I don't have it with me, but when you go on YouTube, that looks fun.
Could you try? Because I don't know.
I think you do it kind of like you were doing. Like, it's hard.
No, you have to do it like this.
Yeah, so
Bye-bye.
have fun, see you. Yeah, so some people are bothered by the idea of synchronicity. They don't like to think that there's a order in the universe. They like to think that there's disorder, that there's chaos, and there's just probabilities. For some reason, they just have this anxiety or aversion towards order, towards people thinking in terms of synchronization. I'm not sure if it's probably different people have different reasons for it. It's possible that they associate the idea of synchronicity with like new agey pseudo-scientific reasoning, and people attributing their synchronicities to like a higher power, like it's God's plan. And because they don't believe in a divine order in the universe, they don't like the idea of synchronicities. But why don't we call an orchestra, why don't we call the ensemble that I was just listening to, why don't we call that a coincidence? It's just a coincidence that those people got together and started hitting the drums and playing the trombone and the wind instruments all at the same time in a rhythm and make such amazing sounds together. Well, it would be pretty silly to deny that there was an order in it, that there was an intention in it, and because we recognize it, we accept it. But if we don't recognize it, then we would just deny it. Well, some people would deny it. So some people like to think that when things happen in like a magical, miraculous sort of way, when things seem to be aligning for you, whatever you think about seems to be coming true, and your life seems to be very synchronized, like in tune with the world. It's pretty amazing. It's really magical when that happens, and you really feel the connection, the orderliness amongst nature. It's empowering. But the skeptics, the doubters, will say, no, it's all just random. There's no synchronicity. It's just coincidence. So I would challenge the doubters. Just because you don't know exactly how the order is playing out doesn't mean that there's no order. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Now, it's not an argument for God or against God. It's simply an argument for order. Now, it's not some sort of ultimate order. I'm not saying that it's order versus chaos, or I think both are true. Just depends what perspective you're looking at, and a lot of times the perspective that you choose makes all the difference. It can make us miserable, and it could make us feel fulfilled. In Buddhism, at least, there's this idea of right view. Basically, that not all views are equal. Even it might be logical, it might not be preferable to view the world from that view, from that idea. A lot of times, you know, these views, they come from our analysis of the world. And when our mind is basically running and focused to analyze automatically the world from a particular view perspective, then we kind of snap into that mode of perception, and we can get stuck in it. And if we get stuck in an unbeneficial view, then our life is just going to be miserable. You're going to feel disintegration in the world. You're going to feel isolation. You're going to think that there is just randomness. And you might fail to see a lot of the magic that is also true. So it's not just a coincidence that there's a camera in front of me and I'm holding it, and it just happened by accident to come into my hand. Is that there was an intention. There was an intention, there was order, and this phenomena came together. We could call it synchronicity, we could call it coincidence. Both are true. But what matters is, what effect does it have on you? How do you feel when you think about coincidence? How do you feel when you think about synchronicity? They might ultimately be really the same thing, but when we're talking about it, really, what's our intention? Is it really an ego trip to prove or disprove somebody else's view, or is it really about coming to a greater, deeper understanding of what's actually the nature, what's really going on? So I hope you guys find some synchronicity, some coincidences in your life. Don't dismiss them. Let me know how you perceive these kinds of events in your life. We can categorize in so many different ways. Let me know how you do it, and we can continue this conversation. See you next time, guys. Have a wonderful, beautiful day.